Hello, hello, hello again, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or whatever time of day it is that you are watching this video. Greetings from JoJo. So today's video is going to be focused on brows. We're not going to do a whole face today. Just going to show you one of the ways that I do my brows. It's different all the time. And the product that I'm going to be using today is not one that I use every day. So today's brow product is going to be the Anastasia Dip Brow. And the color is called dark brown. So it's Anastasia Brow Pomade in dark brown. And I have quite a bit. I don't use it quite often, but I love it. And more than likely, I'm going to be using my MAC pencil as well. And the color is called Spiked. I'm actually thinking I should go with a darker color in my brow pencil with MAC. But their next darkest color is Stud, I believe. So I may be going to get that color versus the Spiked. The Spiked, however, has been my all-time favorite because I've been using that for a long, long time. What happened to my music, y'all? Hold on. Okay, I see what it is. So my music on my phone won't play while my video is going. So we're just going to proceed without Anthony Hamilton. So I think I'm just going to do one eyebrow just for the sake of time. Go ahead and finish my face, you know, but I want to focus on my brows. So here we go. Any questions that you may have, you can of course post them, and like, share, and subscribe to my page if you will, please. I thank you in advance. So let's go ahead and get started. So I like to use a little brush my eyebrows out. And I did just shape them up again, and I like to use a straight razor. So I buy these here from the local beauty supply. I love a straight razor on my brows because it makes them very clean, and I love precision. So that's my focus, precision. So one of the ways I'd like to do my brows is just go ahead and start in my brows and then use a concealer to define them. Another way that I like to do my brows is to use my concealer first and then do my pencil or dip brow. So it just depends on where I'm at, if I want to be a little dramatic with my brows or not. So we're not going to do too dramatic of a brow today, okay? So we're just going to start with small light strokes underneath your brow, natural brow. However, I did start a little bit in front of the brow first. And no worries if you do this, if you do your brows and they look too thick, no worries, because your concealer is going to be used as like an eraser, a magic eraser. So that's going to erase any extra lines or thickness that you may have, and you'll be able to shape your brows exactly how you want them. So like here, if this line was too thick for me, I would be able to thin it out and shape it like I want. So I'll show you that. So I'm just going to use a little bit more product. I'm using an angled brush. Can you see that? Using an angled brush. Now that was just underneath the brow, and then I'm elongating the brow to have her how long I want it. And so from the tip of that brow, I'm going to add more definition to the end, to the tip of the brow. Give it more of a curvature end. Now, if you notice here, it's not very smooth. Once again, don't worry about that because we're going to fix that. Another thing that I like to do, well, let me do this first. Let me get on top of that brow just a little bit here. Yeah, that looks good. Now, I am going to brush my hairs up And I'm not going to put any extra product on my brush, you guys. I'm just going to use what's on here. And I'm just going to do some small strokes within the brow. Now, when you brush your hairs up, you are allowed to see the empty spaces where there are no product. However, you do have hair there, of course. But if you want them to look a little bit more fuller, that's the ticket. You want to brush these hairs up and take you some light strokes with your product left on your brush and do small strokes within the brow. And then you take your little spoolie brush again, and you can either leave your brows brushed up or keep them smooth, but either way, you're brushing that product into the brow just a little bit more. And so we are going to define the eyebrow now with some concealer. And so what I'm going to use is the Pro Concealer, LA Girl Pro Concealer. This is also bought at the local beauty supply. You can certainly use whichever concealer that you desire. There's no particular or specific one that you have to use. It's whatever you like. One of my favorite concealers also is the Estee Lauder Maximum Coverage Concealer. And they come in various shades. I like MAC concealers as well. So once again, it's your preference. It's no right or wrong concealer to use. It's just whatever you like. So I'm going to be using LA Girl Pro Concealer. Sometimes I use a small angle brush. Let me get it so I can show you. It's basically similar to the, here it is, to my brow brush. So sometimes I use a small angle brush. Sometimes I use a flatter concealer brush. And then I use another concealer brush. So, I'll get off of here. Okay, so these are my 3 favorite brushes. And you see how this one has a little peak to it, a little pointed tip on it. So these are the 3 that I use on a continual basis. So I think I'm going to use the smaller flat brush, the angle brush. Now, if you decide to use this type of brush, you'd have to flip it depending on which eye that you're on. So when I'm doing my right eyebrow, the peak, the point, the highest point of the brow pencil, this angled brush, I'm sorry, is on the left side. So that when I place it against my face here like so, it's going to be able to give me that peak. Okay, do you see that? And then when I use this same brush on my left eye, I flip it over. Once again, the highest peak is going to be at the beginning of my brow. And then you just go on over like so. Define it, shape it however you desire. However, if you don't use an angle brush, you can just use a regular concealer brush. If you got a good steady hand, that might work for you as well. You know, once again, no right or wrong way. Just do whatever's comfortable for you. And then a lot of times when I use this particular brush, I use this one on the top to define because it has a lot more room, a lot more brush, oh God, brushes. Am I saying that right? And then I also use it underneath when I have more product on the eye to help blend it a lot faster since the other one is very small, okay? But certainly for precision, I'm going to start off using this angle brush with my LA Girl concealer. Now I really like this concealer because it's very rich. A little bit, you guys, really go a long, long, long way. Okay, so we're going to get started. So what I like to do is once again, start up underneath my brow. Always remember too that wherever you lay your brush first is going to be where you have the most product. You see that peak? I love precision and definition once again, so I get excited. So once again, for you, if you do your pencil or your pomade or your brow gel and it's not smooth and thin enough how you want it, don't worry about it because you can once again go in and clean it up. So as I was saying, you can, wherever you lay your brush first, that's where the most of the product is going to be. If you have an excessive amount of product on your brush, you can kind of wipe it on the back of your hand first. Or you can start a little bit further underneath the brow and not right directly on the brow. And then use the product that's on the brush to go ahead and define your eyebrows out. And you want to take that product and brush it down onto the eyelid. Constantly brushing the product over. It's really not going to move. So you want to brush that product down onto the eye to kind of space it out. And then you can buff it out with your finger. I'll show you that. All right. And we're moving along, y'all. We're moving right along here. And so you can elongate your eyebrow however you want, depending on the shape of your face, okay? Everybody don't do their brows the same, of course. So, however your face is shaped, however you desire your eyebrows to be shaped, it's totally, totally up to you, okay? So, once again, I'm going to use my bigger brush, concealer brush, and I'm going to just use my brush to buff out this concealer onto the eyelid, okay? And once again, I don't have any makeup on, no foundation or foundation primer or anything. I just have clean, moisturized skin. Hence the glow. You see the glow? Let me just say this too while I'm at it. The key to good makeup application is to have good skin and a good skincare regimen. So you want to make sure you're hydrated and moisturized before you do anything. That's my professional opinion, okay? So if you have dry skin, moisturize, you know, just like you would put lotion or moisturizer on your body. You want to moisturize your face as well. In the event you have dark spots or blemishes on your face, one key thing is this. You can cover up some blemishes, dark spots, acne spots on your face with your makeup. But before you get to your makeup, you want to take care of the problem before that, okay? And what I mean by that is using some skincare products that's going to darken those, I'm sorry, not darken, that's going to lighten those dark spots that you may have on your face. So for me, I have a few dark spots here. And I use a dark spot correcting cream by Lancome. Another one that I have is by Estee Lauder. And these dark spots are certainly fading away. I don't know where they come from, but nevertheless, you want to use products to take care of your problem before you start to apply your makeup, okay? That's my professional opinion. Now, there are products that can cover, you know, like the Maximum Coverage Concealer that Estee Lauder has. This is a wonderful product. It's great. There are some other great concealers out there that can cover your blemishes as well too. But if at all costs, if you can take care of the problem before you start your makeup, then I would suggest to certainly do that. And here we have an almost finished eyebrow, you guys. So once again, you can ask any questions that you may have. Subscribe to my page. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you in advance. Let me know if you have any thoughts, ideas. If you want to partner up and do anything, I'll certainly am available and willing to do that as well. So we have an eyebrow. You see that? Now, some people like a square eyebrow toward the end. You know, I like a round eyebrow. That's just my personal preference, you know. So I'm going to do a little definition on top of the eyebrow as well. Now, for me, I'm not going to use such a light color on the top. I'm actually going to use some foundation. And the foundation that I have been trying is Fenty by Rihanna, and I like it. It's a medium to full coverage. It does leave you with some glow, so your skin does look healthy, which I like. So if you wanted to do a lighter concealer, you can do that on the top of your brow. I'm just not going to do that today. So I'm just going to use my concealer brush. I just put a little bit of product on it, the foundation. And now this time, you guys, I'm not doing the concealer, the product, I'm sorry, directly on top of that brow. What I'm doing is going above the area so that I can blend the product in a lot smoother, okay? So I don't want to have a line across my brows. So I'm just going to take the product above. Okay, you see that? Let me see if I turn this light off, if you can see it a little bit better. Nope, not at all. Okay, so let's proceed, shall we? So now I'm bringing the product closer to the top of my brow. And remember, once again, where you lay your product first on your face is where your product will be the heaviest. And I love a good peak. Ooh, I love a good peak on my brow. And once again, you're going to take the rest of that product that you have there and blend it into the skin, okay? So once again, you can use a concealer, whichever you prefer. It's absolutely okay. I just decided to do foundation. Okay, so now we're just about done with this eyebrow. In the event also that you have too much product on your brow and it's too thick, it's too dark, it looks thick for you, take your brush and brush that product throughout the brow. Not only will it help blend it into the brow, but you can also diffuse some of that thickness and heaviness that you may have if you went too hard on your pencil, okay? Or your gel or whichever you use. You can also use the same brush to diffuse some of that brow and soften them up, shall I say. So that's one reason why when I went into the brow, I brushed my hairs up and then use what product was left on the brush to fill in, make them a little darker versus putting it on top of the brow and then filling it in like that, and then it'll really be too dark and too heavy. And so with this here, we have an eyebrow. What you think? Can see that? We have an eyebrow. And from here, I will go ahead and do the eyebrow and do the rest of my makeup. But today's focus was eyebrows, so I just wanted to show you really quickly. We have done this one eyebrow in under 20 minutes, okay? So just imagine how long it would take to do the rest of my face. So check out my other videos if you will. I certainly appreciate it. Hashtag subscribe to my channel, share, like it, and talk to your friends about it so they can watch it and learn as well. If you have any questions, certainly hit me up. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks a lot. See you next time.